there, my crypto brothers and sisters. How in the world have you been? You know, we've been kind of excited, I guess. Our things have been changing around. Anyway, we got a new suggestion here. I mean, a new topic. Hang on, cut it.
Yeah, no, we're not cutting nothing.
We ain't cutting. Okay. Well, we ain't cutting nothing, people. This here is one of them bloopers.
Well, you know, Rod and I really we don't pre-discuss a lot of this stuff. We just kind of get on and wing it. We talk about it. Yeah, we do our homework, so we kind of hopefully know what we're talking about. But before we go any further, Rod,
yes, Ron.
It looks like you got a new backdrop.
Hey, you like that?
It's red, white, and blue.
USA. Yeah, yeah, you betcha.
So,
you know, I'm proud of my country. Just like everybody in the world that listens to us should be proud of their country. And I'm proud of them that they're proud of their country. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, and I was going to ask you that because, you know, your whole life you've been really pro-America, pro-flag. I mean, you've got... And I was just kind of wondering why. You kind of just explained it. You know, you love our country and what it stands for. Not necessarily government, I'm assuming, and some of that. But
no, I love our country for what it stands for, the way our forefathers set it up, and I'm all for the Constitution of the United States. I'm all for the amendments that are there, and I don't want any of our freaking government messing with them. If they do, then I'm pulling out my gun.
You'd like to.
I'll probably get raided by somebody.
Yeah, let's be careful here. So, but I know where you're at. So, and we can appreciate that devotion and love you have for that stuff because you've studied the Constitution, you've studied all the forefathers. Yes. I mean, you've read all that stuff.
Hey, and, I've got everything that you know, the Federalist Papers. You know, way back when they didn't have communication like YouTube and stuff like that. The only way they could communicate is through the newspapers. And so they explained through 82 articles the Constitution of the United States, and I've read every one of them. And I tell you, they make total sense to me. Anyway, I'm sorry to get on my bandwagon here.
No, I kind of asked about it. I think it's important people know why you are pro-flag and all that. It's and they don't have to like it. You know, we don't. You know, it's embedded in your heart, and I think that's part of who you are. So that's good.
You love the people in the United States. I don't care what race, creed, or where you're from. I just love all the people in the United States.
Well,
hey,
thanks.
And I want to talk a little bit about Ripple, though. I'm going to change the subject here if I could. You know, Ripple's back at it again. They kind of came up with this new 2-day summit they had in Berlin, and they came up with some cool stuff with this ledger type, this Interledger, I think they call it, where they can shoot. I hate growing on. I get teaser moments.
We'll figure it out as we go along, Rod, what they're trying to do. But before we jump into that Interledger, maybe we ought to once again review quickly. I know everybody's kind of familiar, but what a blockchain is, how that works, and all that.
That's a good idea.
You know, it's interesting, like Bitcoin has its own blockchain.
Yes.
And basically, it's just a ledger. It just keeps track of transactions. Each block has so many transactions within that block.
Right.
And I think with Bitcoin, it's even like on a time measurement. Like every so many minutes, a new block starts. And as these blocks interlink and they've all share these ledgers, it kind of proves these transactions and it assigns these hash or codes to them. And so it's just a big ledger. And as you look at all these altcoins too, a lot of them are piggybacked either on Ethereum or a few things like that, but they all kind of have their own platform, and there's several of these blockchains or ledgers out there. And so like if you want to get involved with you brought up Ripple, their XRP coin, which was designed to run on Ripple's blockchain. You'd have to go out and open a Ripple wallet to store those in, and you have to transact those coins on the Ripple blockchain. Same with any of those altcoins. You got to be kind of involved with their system. Now, lately there are some new wallets like Exodus where you can maybe get 9 different coins within that wallet.
Yeah, it makes it convenient.
Well, it is nice, and we've got the Exodus wallets, and and you can change those coins back and forth, and so they're trying to kind of simplify this to make it more convenient to use these various and different coins and tokens out there.
Right.
So what? And I know this background here. It's time to unite. This kind of deals with this Interledger thing. So let's go back and talk a little bit more about Ripple.
Okay.
Bitcoin totally decentralized, which means there's no central company or organization or government or anything else that regulates Bitcoin and its transactions. So if you have a wallet and I have a wallet and each of us have that wallet address, I can send you Bitcoins to you peer-to-peer, person-to-person. There's nobody in between. They can say we can and can't, how much, and we can do it for real minimal fees fairly quickly. Well, now you got Ripple that comes along, and they attach themselves to the banking system, and they say, hey, this same type of system that Bitcoin's using, the banks can use, which will do what? It'll expedite and speed up their transactions. See, a normal bank wires money. Takes a day or two sometimes. The fees are hefty and it's pretty slow. They also have to work on a ledger type system. They've got to record everything. Excuse me. So Ripple came along and said,
just like the altcoins, or just like Bitcoin or Ethereum or Ripple now. They all work on ledgers.
They do. So, and even the banks. So now you got Ripple saying, hey, let us help you banks by expediting you, letting you use this blockchain that we devised so you can also benefit like Bitcoin. Well, but there's still kind of a centralized system, meaning a bank system is centralized. You got a central hub where that money goes in and out. There's regulations, there's rules, there's fees, there's government regulations on how that's to be done. But so it gets kind of complicated, especially when they start sending money cross-border to other countries. It just takes time. Everybody's got to keep the ledgers all balanced. Well, Ripple's kind of helping them expedite that. The platform is good. We're not talking about the moral issue. We've discussed that before. So now you got Ripple, and this just didn't come out brand new, this Interledger thing. Let me...
It's been, I think we talked about one or two of these, didn't we?
Yeah, we might have mentioned it, but they just had this meeting in Berlin the last couple days, and they showed how this Interledger kind of works. Now, the reason we put this image up, it says under Interledger, it says, sorry about that static, I hear it too. It says enabling the internet of value. So to understand what this Interledger is, I'd like to relate that to the internet, since it's mentioned here in this title a little bit. If you look at the internet, it's worldwide. We can Skype across it just like we're doing, Rod. We can send emails, all sorts of. I could send you an image, or I can send you a contract, and you can. I mean, it's amazing what the internet can do.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
But to get that worldwide, we have all these various and different providers that supply the internet to that region, country, city, state, or whatever. Like I think I'm on not Comcast. what are you on, Rod? What's your provider?
Well, I'm on Comcast,
Okay.
and I think you're on something else.
It's that little small telephone company
Free.
over in. Anyway, so yeah, we're all on different providers, but those providers sync up all the internet.
Yes,
Now,
they do.
So what this Interledger does, or what they're proposing, is they've got a system to interlink all the blockchains and banks and PayPal and anything that creates or sends value. The Interledger will connect those. So basically, I can send out Bitcoin, and Rod accepts Ethereum. Well,
Right.
It'll go through these various ledgers or blockchains and convert my Bitcoin to his Ethereum. I don't have to have a separate address for each separate coin. Matter of fact, let me pull up this. Here's the article that we just saw on CoinDesk, and it's dealing with that thing in Berlin. And what they did over there is Ripple send a transaction across 7 ledgers. And I think they started it with US dollars, and it went into
Euros.
yeah, it kind of says in the article, but by the time it came out like Ethereum, and they did it across 7 ledgers.
Oh.
Now, you need to really catch the vision of this. This is huge to me. I mean,
I think it is.
We can send fiat money, US dollars, and come out on the other end in Ripple or in Ethereum or Bitcoin.
Or Dash or whatever.
Or we can send it through and it'll come out in their fiat currency of that country.
Yeah.
So does that kind of, I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah,
but
that makes perfect sense.
But that's why I wanted to associate it with the internet and how all these providers provide the internet. Well, not Ripple, but this Interledger, and it's not just Ripple's idea. I think it came up from the guy who helped create the Ripple blockchain, but there's other big boys involved in this. I think Microsoft's been dealing with this a little bit. There's a company called 21 DAH. So there's a group of people working on this, but I think it's kind of Ripple's baby. And whether it's going to affect Ripple price as far as the XRP price, I don't know if it's going to affect that. But this is such a big thing, in my opinion, that you can interlink all these altcoins together with fiats and any kind of way to pay and interlink.
There you go.
So it's like this Interledger is kind of like a referee. They're not a ledger itself, so you're not going to replace everybody's ledgers, but they're kind of tap into them. They're going to be like the backbone structure of it, and their code will, of course, it's got to be there's going to be not trust, but they'll trustless and all that. Anyway, I hope I'm explaining this right. Are you catching it, Rod? If you can catch it,
Yeah,
anybody can catch it.
Can, right?
Hey, one more thing before you answer that.
Okay.
I read a lot of the technical stuff too, but it just doesn't sync with me.
Yeah.
Well, hey, hang on. Let me go to a different tab here.
Okay.
You might. This reminds me, Rod. Can you see this, Rod? What I've pulled up here is Pong. Do you remember when I first got married and we lived kind of close, and you went out and bought that Pong game? Yeah. Now, the reason I show this, folks, is a lot of you guys are so young, you would never even think of this game, but it's so simple. It's just you got these paddles here, and the paddles go up and down, and it's just like a tennis game or a ping pong game. We would do marathons on this thing. We would when Rod first got this game, and it's so simple, but this was like the first game out there. Do you remember it, Rod?
Absolutely, I remember it.
We'd play that stupid thing, but we thought it was the coolest dang thing in the world.
Who can get the most points?
Yeah. So back to the technology thing. I read it, but I don't always grasp the whole thing. It's sometimes way over my head. Now, if it was written like Pong was, I could probably figure it out, but
We didn't understand Pong or how it worked, on an electronic thing. We just knew it worked. And some of these things that these guys are coming up with on this blockchain and stuff, we may not understand it, and it may or may not work. We don't know yet, but if this thing works good, I think you're right. It's a blockchain transaction across 7 ledgers. So you got 7 different ledgers from 7 different banks, and then all of a sudden, here they all correspond with each other, and they do wonderful. So that's all I need to know.
no.
That it does work. That would simplify everything. Which right now I got to go to a Ripple wallet, I got to go to a Dash or a Zcoin, something. I always seem like I'm always going to something else, some other exchange besides Coinbase. I just has 3 on there, but then you got Polynex, and you do have now Exodus, which makes it a little easier, but still. And every one of them's a little different in price too. That's something else I don't understand. But anyway, I wish they'd even that out.
Yeah. Well, this to me could very well be the wave of the future in this whole crypto industry. And to me, as I think about it, it's even kind of still decentralized. There's no control on this. I can send you money peer to peer. It might cross 3 or 4 blockchains and go through a bank, but there's not going to be anybody centralized that controls it. So this maybe is a way that Ripple is still going to be. And matter of fact, talk about decentralization. I got an article down in the description box that says that if you think that Ripple's ultimate goals are really to be decentralized, because we get a lot of flack on that with the moral issue. When they say moral issue, it's just dealing with centralized compared to decentralized. So I put an article down there. If you people are serious about this stuff, you need to look at these description articles, not just from us, but in a lot of the videos. If you really want to learn what's going on, you've got to study this stuff. That's a good article for anybody that's back and forth on Ripple. Yeah. So anywhere, I think with this new Interledger thing, it's going to still be decentralized. And if I'm wrong, let me hear it in the comments. Maybe I hadn't thought of something that you folks do.
Ron, can I inject something here? I'm not into Ripple or this blockchain stuff for the so-called moral issues. It's more for, and I know I've talked about this before, and it's kind of vague, but I'm in it for the money. And that's what I think we need to be. That's part of the, I hate to say it this way, but that's part of the American way. And I think the world's gone that way too. We all wanting to make a decent living and make some extra income, and I think this is a perfect way.
No, you're right. But if you look at the hardcore Bitcoin guys that just, originally the way it was set up, it's to get away from these dirty, rotten banks that have messed, so I see their point of view. They've messed up the world. So I get all that part too. But I get what you're saying also, that you're speculating on some of this and you want to make some money. Here's interledger.org is their website. And you can see it here on your behind us. They have a Get Started tab. If you click this actually lets you go through and send currency through 2 or 3 different ledgers to see kind of how it works. It's kind of fun, kind of interesting, but that'll give you some more information. These sites are also going to be down in the
description.
Yep, description box.
Cool.
And as usual, I don't know what I'm pressing here.
I don't either.
Rod, did you come up with any more questions? I've had 7 kids. I've had 1 child gone, but I've got 6 kids left, and most of them I've gotten into Bitcoin and opening wallets, and even if they just put $50 in, get started with this stuff because it's not stopping.
It's gonna go.
With
all the signs are written on the wall. It's gonna go.
Yeah.
You know, with countries like China and Japan and more people in the United States and more people like around the, even India and you know, all over are getting into this stuff. And if they get into it, it's got to be going like crazy. And it doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, or what. Just get involved in it. Have fun. You know, you and I have fun doing this stuff.
Yeah, we really do. But then when you look at this Interledger thing and how this could tie it in worldwide and make it so simplistic, not that this is going to happen overnight. It might take some time. But this thing is not slowing down. And the sooner you get involved with this stuff, the better financially you'll be.
Because right now there's not that many people involved compared to the world's population.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get involved, more and more people get in, we'll be at the pinnacle, you know. Just yeah, I agree.
It's huge, folks. Thanks for participating, watching us. This was a good thing we did today. I think, Rod. I like this program that we looked at. I'm gonna send this video, even though my kids know we have this channel. I'm gonna send this one to all of them because they need to see how this thing is really growing.
Right on.
Right on. All right, folks. Thank you.
And thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you like us. And remember, God bless.